In this Magic Legends video, I want to talk about the classes of the game and which one might be right for you based on the playstyle that you enjoy the most. There are 5 classes that you can choose during character creation, and they're sort of going to dictate which spells you get first and what passives you're going to gain first. Keep in mind that you can unlock all of these for a single character over time throughout the course of the game, but this is very much going to dictate how your starting experiences with the game. The first class you can choose is Beastcaller. This class is going to make it so that your first deck is green in the game. You're going to get the first 12 cards or first 12 spells you're going to get in Magic Legends will be green. So if you want to start out playing green spells, which is traditionally cards that have to deal with creatures, like either lots of small creatures or big creatures, nature, elves, things like this. If that's the sort of deck that you want to play at the beginning, that's fine. Obviously, keep in mind you can change this later on. It's not a permanent decision, but that's what you'll be playing at the beginning of the game if you choose Beastcaller. Looking over the passives for Beastcaller as well, you gain plus 375 creature damage as well as plus 375 creature health potency. So effectively what this is going to do is make your creatures deal more damage, the ones that you summon with spells, and creatures have more health, so they're going to be harder to kill. This is the passive benefit you get, or one of the passive benefits you get for being a Beastcaller. So if you want to have strong creatures, if you want them to not die easily, this is why you would play this class during the game, or this would be a good reason to. Keep in mind again that you can swap to this later on if you didn't select this, but let's say you're making a creature-based deck later on, Beastcaller might not be a bad choice in order to make them stronger. The Beastcaller is a melee class, meaning that its primary ability, Wild Slash, attacks at melee range, so you run straight up to enemies and attack them, which can be problematic if you are attacking a strong creature. So keep that in mind. You might want to put on, equipment that makes you tougher or artifacts that make you tougher if you're going to play this when you get them. But you also hit an AoE arc, so you're going to hit a lot of creatures at once if you're meleeing with Wild Slash. And you can also throw your axe with Q, throws it in a path forward, it sort of spins, and it hits every enemy in its path, which is nice. So it does have a ranged attack there. And the support ability is Wild Roar, which heals yourself and your companion. Green comes with a companion. They have like a little fox running around or something like that. It's the only class that has that. So if you like a little companion, that's good. But their Wild Roar ability essentially heals you and teleports the companion to your location and applies a taunt to nearby foes and gets +2/+2 for 6 seconds, which makes it stronger and have more health. Additionally, there are certain passive benefits you get over the levels. I'm just going to let you look through these here. I don't think you should focus so much on the passive benefits that you get from the class as you level up, because probably by the time you even hit 30, you'll be able to change classes if you want. And usually these just boost, or a lot of them just affect the abilities that you already gained from the class by making them more potent. So it's better to just focus on those during character creation. The second class you can choose during character creation is the Necromancer class. This is going to give you 12 black cards first in the game, so you're going to start out with a black deck effectively. Black decks typically have to do with undead, ghoulish creatures, zombies, vampires, things like that. They have a lot of direct damage spells and a lot of spells that sometimes, deal enemies and heal you at the same time, as well as spells that sacrifice creatures for some greater effect. The benefits they get in Magic Legends are +500 sorcery damage potency and +250 sorcery healing potency. This means that spells that deal damage or sorceries that deal damage are going to be stronger, and sorceries that heal are going to be stronger. So again, those spells that deal damage and heal are going to be really, really affected by this class and fit well here. Their primary attack is mid-ranged, meaning that it hits kind of far away, but it's not melee range and it's not super long range. So you're going to be somewhere between melee and long range when you're attacking with your default primary attack, which is Grim Siphon. Grim Siphon is a great attack because it not only deals damage over time, but it also heals you for some of the damage that you deal, so you can be able to keep your health topped up while you're attacking with, your primary attack. Grave Upheaval is your Q ability or your secondary, and this allows you to kind of create a small AoE that deals damage and summons 2/1/1 skeleton creature tokens for 30 seconds at that location. So they're going to fight for you until they die or that 30 seconds is up. And if you recast this, it's going to replace those. So you can't just create an ever-growing minion army, at least not that way. But it's really good for getting out some creatures, particularly if you have creatures that need to sacrifice something. They can just pop one of those and you can refresh it. Or if you need to sacrifice creatures for something else, or if you have creatures that buff a large group of enemies or a large group of creatures, this is a good way to get out some cheap creatures that then can be buffed and become stronger. And the utility ability, or the W ability for the Necromancer class, is Necromantic Aura. This is going to sacrifice any skeletons you've created with Grave Upheaval, and it's going to put an aura around you that deals damage over time. So, maybe those skeletons are about to die, you pop this, and then all of a sudden you're doing AoE damage to a whole bunch of creatures around you. Or maybe they're not about to die, and you just have a ton of creatures around you, and you're going to do way more damage if you sacrifice them in AoE rather than watching 2/1/1 skeletons whack shit. Again, I'll show you the other passives here so you can see what you get as you unlock the, further and further into the character levels here, so you can see what sort of stuff you get. Again, I don't think this is super important for your decision at character creation because it takes a very long time to get all this done. Probably by the time you get to the end, you could probably switch classes anyway. So I wouldn't factor that too much in there. Again, a lot of the passives you get just buff the abilities the class already has anyway. Moving along to Mindmage, if you create a Mindmage character, you're going to begin the game with 12 blue cards in your deck. Blue is generally in Magic the Gathering associated with card draw, control, and counterspell. Counterspell doesn't really exist in Magic Legends. I don't know how they would implement that mechanic. There's no really way to set up a counter for some random spell that one of 20 creatures on the screen might be casting, and you're not always facing other Planeswalkers, so creatures don't really cast spells anyway. So there isn't really any counterspell in here. So you're going to have card draw with blue, you're going to have control with blue, and there's a lot of direct damage. I feel like counterspell was sort of replaced by adding direct damage to the control spells. By choosing blue, you gain plus 500 control rating, plus 250 sorcery damage potency. I don't know exactly what control rating means. I don't know if that extends the duration of your control. I'm going to assume that it extends the duration, making it last longer. Maybe it makes the spells that have control tag on them, because some of them say like sorcery dash control. Maybe it makes them do more damage. I'm not entirely certain. But it's either going to be more damage for them or longer duration or both. So blue has a lot of control spells, so that works great for blue cards. And the plus 250 sorcery damage is just damage on sorceries that deal damage, obviously. And just like black, they are a mid-ranged attack, so they're going to attack from somewhere between melee and long range. So if you like to attack from mid-range, then this is also, a reason to select this class. The primary ability for the class is Mind Lash. This shoots the orbs that are kind of hovering around your character forward, and it seems to hit everything directly in front of you. So like you can hit multiple enemies with each primary attack, which is something I really, really like. Confound is your secondary or your Q ability, and this deals damage in a cone in front of you. Uses pretty good damage, actually. Confuses a random foe that's not killed for 6 seconds, and stuns the rest of the creature's hit for 3 seconds. So a lot of the abilities or some of the spells you get from blue deal extra damage against enemies that are crowd controlled. So if you hit with this, and then hit with those, you're going to get extra damage with those spells. That's a good combo. Illusory Escape is an interesting ability. Essentially, what it allows you to do is create a copy of yourself where you're standing, and then move away, and that copy taunts foes while you move speedily away. So it's a great, and it actually lets you move through characters as well. It's a great way to like get through a bunch of enemies and get the hell out of there, which is something that you desperately need from time to time. And again, I'll just let you look through the other passive abilities you gain as you level up the class here as well. Moving along to the Geomancer class, this class is going to start you with 12 red spells. So you're going to have a red deck at the beginning of the game, and the cards you add are probably going to supplement that till you get a lot more cards. And red typically has a lot to do with direct damage over time, and elemental type creatures that are dealing with like fire or earth, or creatures that deal with those things. And it also has like a lot of goblins and things like that. So if you like goblins or summoning a lot of goblins, that is a color for you to pick. In Magic Legends, if you play a Geomancer, you get plus 500 max health potency and plus 250 sorcery damage potency. This is going to make it so that you have more health, so you're harder to kill, and also so that your direct damage sorcery spells or whatever, or damage over time sorcery spells, deal more damage. What's really great about this is because you are a melee character, or you have melee primary and secondary attacks, etc., having that extra health helps keep you alive. So if you want to play a melee character, then this is not a bad class to begin the game with, because it's going to be harder for enemies to kill you, and they're going to hit you more because you're up in melee range. Your primary ability, or your left click, is called Magma Fist. It punches enemies in front of you, and the final hit of the combo grants you a health shield for 10 seconds, equal to 2.5% of your maximum health. So again, this is going to help keep you alive, which is very, very important if you're going to be up punching enemies in the face. The Q ability, or secondary, is Volcanic Fury. This deals damage in a huge AoE around you and consumes the amount of your shield equal to 5% of your max health to deal additional damage. This does really, really good damage, and you'll want to use this quite regularly. You can use Furious Sleep, which is your utility to jump into enemies and then pop Volcanic Fury to AoE all of them, which is fantastic. So Furious Sleep, like I said, allows you to just kind of like teleport a short distance. It's not a teleport, but it's the leap. It kind of reminds me of like the Barbarian's jump slam ability from Diablo 3 a little bit. So it's going to work kind of like that, and then it's really good if you want to pop AoE spells like immediately afterward, or use Volcanic Fury. And just like the other classes, I'll let you look through the class passives here that you gain as you level up so you can see what they are. The last class you can choose is Sanctifier. This is going to make it so that your first deck is white. The first 12 cards you'll gain are white cards. And it has the passive abilities of plus 500 sorcery healing potency and plus 250 sorcery damage potency. So healing spells are going to be more effective, much more effective, and damage dealing spells are going to be more effective, but not quite as effective as healing spells for you. And your default attack, your primary, are range. So this is the farthest attacking class in the game. So if you want to be as far away from enemies as you can when you're auto-attacking or just click attacking, then this is a good class for you. White is a color that deals primarily with things like angels, healing, retribution, like reflecting damage back. So if you like that sort of gameplay, that's for you. Not every class can heal in this game. Typically, most healing spells are in green and white. So if you want to be more of a support role in dungeons, if you want to be that person that's healing the other players, or maybe, when you're fighting, like doing really hardcore content, you'll probably need at least one person running some heal spells from white or green. This is great. And keep in mind that you can heal your creatures as well. So if you have like a lot of creatures in your deck and they're constantly dying, you can keep them alive by playing a white class, or using white spells rather. So your primary attack is Divine Bolt. It pierces the enemies that you hit, so it'll go through the target and into any targets behind it, which is fantastic, and it has super, super long range. The next ability is Wave of Radiance. This sort of does like a wave of damage in a cone in front of you, in a smaller-ish cone, and it deals damage to any enemy that's hit in it, which is fantastic. Salvation is a bit unique as far as utilities go. Essentially, what it allows you to do is heal you for a little bit of health and all friendlies around you, including creatures. And you gain a charge counter every time you do it, a devotion counter. And every fourth time you use it, you'll actually summon a 4/4 angel token creature for 20 seconds that has lifelink. Lifelink makes it so when they attack, they heal you for however much damage they do. So it's kind of a cool way that every fourth cast of Salvation, you'll actually gain an angel for a little bit. So you kind of want to plan ahead and maybe save that fourth charge, like do 3, save that fourth one for when you need it most. And again, I'll let you look through the things you gain as you level up here so you can see those as well, just so you have an idea of where the Sanctifier class will go. The last thing I want to talk about is the Demer Assassin. There is a 6th class in the game that seems like, and I don't know for sure, that it's in the store only. I would highly recommend putting this class out of your mind if possible. I bought about 70 packs today trying to get this class so I could just see like what it had in it. Didn't get it. I don't think the likelihood of you getting this class is very high, especially if you're not going to plan to spend any real money in this game, even though you can get it from the consignment broker, which is like the auction hall in-game for not real money. You can use the in-game currency if you have enough to buy it there if someone's willing to sell it from their acquisition of it. But it's so rare, I don't think you're ever going to play this unless you're willing to drop hundreds of dollars on the game. So I would just put it out of your mind. So that's been our video on classes. I hope that helps you make a better decision. You're going to be playing the class you select the way it's built, like with that card color for a good amount of time. I'd say probably at least 10 hours you're planning on playing with that color of spells. So it is a big decision, but once you get past that and start unlocking other classes, it's not going to be that big of a decision in the long run. So don't worry if you picked a class that you don't really like and you've like 5 hours in, you're going like, I wish I would have picked something else. Keep in mind that you can unlock other classes later, so that shouldn't be a problem for you the whole game. Also, be sure to check out the wiki if you have questions about the game. We have all the classes on there, we have all the spells on there, and we have a bunch of videos up on YouTube as well showing all the spells in the game. So if you're curious what spells you can get, they're all there.